Welcome, America, to Dow's Weekly Digest. My theme for today is this: taking it for granted. Taking it for granted. What am I talking about, taking it for granted? This is up to you. I'd like you to list 3 skills that you possess. And now list 3 qualities that you possess. Think about this question. If you could do anything in the world that has no chance of failure, what would you do? What would you do? Taking it for granted. First, let's look at a little cowboy wisdom. A horse already knows how to be a horse. The rider has to learn how to become a rider. We may take that for granted. A horse is a horse, of course. Go right to the source and ask the horse. He'll give you the answer that you endorse. He's always on a steady course. That's Mr. Ed. And on to some South Dakota trivia. You know, the geographic center of the United States, taking in since 1959 Alaska and Hawaii, is a red covered fence post about 20 miles north of a little town in South Dakota called Belle Fourche. A little South Dakota trivia. And what does the wisdom of the Bible tell us about taking things for granted? Let's look at the Old Testament and look at Ecclesiastes chapter 7, verse 14. In the day of prosperity, be joyful. But in the day of adversity, consider, surely God has appointed the one as well as the other, so that man can find nothing that will happen to him. Don't take it for granted. Here's a man who changed the world. I don't know what's inscribed on Malcolm McLean's tombstone, but it might say he changed the world. You see, Mr. McLean invented the container shipping. Think of all the things you get, they probably come by way of a container. Now, Mr. Malcolm was a farmer's son. He was born near a town in Maxton, North Carolina. He started working early, selling eggs for his mother. He took a small little commission. During the Depression, then he got a job at a gas station. He saved his money and he bought a second-hand truck. He called his company McLean Trucking. The first loads were dirt and different lots of things for the local farmers. And he hauled it himself. He did pretty well and managed to buy a few more trucks and then some more. By 1940, he had 30 trucks. In 1955, he sold McLean Trucking, and they had 1,776 trucks. He sold that for $6 million. Not bad for a farmer's son from Maxton, North Carolina. He took his money and he bought then the Pan Atlantic Tanker Company, which was a fleet of mostly rusting out oil tankers. He renamed the company Sealand, and he started doing his experiments, things that he was thinking about for 20 years. A container idea. You know, look around you. Great ideas don't come from books or business classes. They come from life. What's in your life? What's your next big idea? Don't take it for granted. After all, you have those 3 qualities. You have those 3 skills. My nephew, Rogelio, my nephew in Panama, one of the first times I met Rogelio and his wife, Alexandria, I asked him what he did. And he said, "Uncle, I do logistics." My next question was, "Rogelio, what is logistics?" He said, "You see all those big containers that go through the Panama Canal?" I said, "Yes." He says, "I fill those up. I contact businesses from all over the world to fill up that container. I'd taken it for granted that every company filled up their own containers. Logistics. Ask yourself, if you will, this question. Is there a certain section of clientele that I may be taking for granted? Do you assume that everything's going to be okay and no changes are needed? I'm speaking of your policyholders. When was the last time you did a policy review for this group? One of our premier carriers that has some excellent resources for you to consider is North American. Let's go to the financial markets website, fmiAgent.com, and look at North American's policy review resources. Click on to Products. From there, I'm going to scroll down to North American. From there, I want to go to my favorite. So I scroll down to, you got it, News. Click onto the button that says View All. See it down there? And I see there's a lot of news there. But for today, for the topic for today, I'm going to scroll down to January 18th. And it's entitled, Are Client Reviews Part of Your Practice? The food for thought says, not only does life change, but life insurance products change over time. That's why it's important to put regular client reviews into place. I'm going to go to click onto Visit Marketing Toolkit. And then I'm going to click on to Client Review Marketing Materials. And look, they've got them categorized by different opportunities. And they show me which ones are client friendly and which ones are for my particular resource use. And I click onto each one of these and get a more in-depth feeling on how to use the resource or what the resource is, what it looks like. So I'm going to click onto client friendly, client brochure. It opens up for me, and now I can go through the pages of the brochure and see what key questions I may bring up to the client, that policyholder, and how I can use it. Taking advantage, folks, of North American's marketing strategy, I can see that they brought this all together for my convenience. And I can look it over and then take advantage and leverage this and start my client review program. And if I had a question on a particular brochure or how to get or how to use maybe, I'd be contacting that experienced team member, my internal wholesaler. Or if I wanted to order something, I'd be contacting my internal wholesaler. Folks, look right here. They put together this policy review in hard copies, and I can order that. Where would I order this? Through my internal wholesaler. Now, my communication tip for today goes like this. People can tell when you say something you believe in. The opposite is also true. Keep it in mind. And here we have a North American video that I'd like to introduce to you. It is actually part of the marketing resources that we covered. And I see how it's going to fit into your 2021 strategy. It's not long, but I think you'll find it worthwhile to look at.
Life changes. People grow up, start families, kids graduate, and folks retire. All of these life changes can affect the type and amount of life insurance you may need. By reviewing your policy with your agent, you may be able to increase coverage and save money with a policy that fits your life now. It's time to take charge, to dig in and review your options. It's time to build a policy that's right for you. Whether you got married, got pregnant with your first or your fifth, started a new job, or got a promotion, the only constant you can count on is that life changes. So make sure you have the financial protection you and your loved ones need. Talk to your agent today to get started.
Folks, this video is short enough that you could put some tags to it, some motivators for them to contact you, to think about those life changes that's on this video, and then arrange for you to meet. How would I get this video? I'd be contacting my team member, my internal wholesaler. Folks, GP for you is G. It's great. Don't take that for granted. And blessed are those who ease the pain of misfortune, for they shall be called insurance agents. You take care.